It's still Kali. It's still Sunday, uh, April 29th, and that's the third segment that I'm addressing on how to handle stage 5 cancer, if there is such a thing. Actually doesn't. That means we are on our way to our deathbed. Many people wrote to me, and many people actually, this morning, a lady called me and asked me to address the emotional aspect of this whole crusade. That's the hardest part. Yes, the diet is hard, taking all those supplements, everything is hard. But the emotional part is the most important part. Most people are going to say is the diet is the most important. I say 80%, and I read it in the doctor's book, 80% is how we approach this whole thing emotionally. And I analyzed my life. How did I get here? Because I never smoked. I never drank. I never did drugs. I was never overweight. Yes, maybe 10, 20 pounds here and there. But that's not considered really. I never ate poorly. Yes, I was eating a little bit more sugar than the average person. That was the only thing that I overdid. How did I end up with terminal cancer? Well, I'll tell you what. This thing didn't show up until some really major disasters happened in my life. Up until I was perfectly fine. The little things that everybody goes here and there through. I never had even pneumonia before. But all of a sudden, I come up with deadly cancer. Well, guess what? I stopped being happy. I stopped addressing my emotional needs. Yes, like everybody else, like you, I was carrying a lot of baggage from my mother. Who doesn't? I left my continent, not my town, not my country, the continent where I was born, to get away from her. I needed to get away not just from my mother, I needed to get away from the whole culture. I couldn't stand the culture that I was living in. I couldn't fit in. I knew instinctively I had to get away. And that saved me up to a point. I was lucky enough to marry a very kind man, a man who supported me to become a better person, to educate myself, to better myself in every way. And that's why things were going well. I was lucky enough to meet other good people, good lovers, and I was supplementing my life. God had blessed me with a wonderful child, and I think that even enriched my life, and that kept me going. I thought I had a good friend. I don't make friends easily. I'm a very friendly person. I'll talk to anybody, but I don't make close friends easily. My closest friend, when I moved away, she stayed, or I had one or two close friends. They stayed in New York. Then she moved in California. So my childhood friends were in another continent. My best friends were one or two in New York. One was in California. I couldn't make many friends here. I live in Cleveland as of right now. I made only one friend with whom I spent most of my time. And we were working out together. We were going dancing together. We were doing everything together. Well, that person betrayed me. I had put all my eggs in one basket, and he was very jealous of my other friendships. He destroyed all of my other friendships. He interfered with my personal life. He even destroyed my fragile marriage. And when I needed him, he abandoned me. That's a good friend for you, right? Well, that hit me very hard. That hit me so hard that I took it to heart. It really, really started making me miserable. Then a lover left me. somebody that I loved very much. Let's call him my husband. We had some very good years together, extremely happy years. That's when I knew what real happiness meant. But then he started changing. The more money he was making and the more power he was making, he was robbing my soul. He was robbing his soul too, but he was willing to exchange his soul for money and power. I was not. I'm not. I had to sell my spirit, my soul, in order to be with him. And I couldn't. But it was an obsession. To be perfectly honest, it still is. Up to a point. I miss him. I miss what we used to have, what we used to be, not what he became. Now he doesn't exist anymore. He's gone. And I miss him terribly. I can't talk too much about it because it really bothers me. So, I'm gonna try to keep my composure. And you see, you don't want to reach this point. You don't want to be in tears. You should be able to talk about your life without crying. Because if you do, you promote your illness. And I don't want to cry anymore. I have cried a lot. And I don't know when the crying is going to stop. I suppose when it stops, I'm going to heal. For now, you're going to have to excuse me because, you see, I have not healed yet. But that's what you want to avoid. You want to avoid this. What you're seeing right now, try to avoid it. Try to conquer it. We're going to talk about it in a few minutes. Thanks.